Hello everyone, this is CounterYolo, bringing you another video talking about survivability in Star Trek Online. And in today's video, I'm going to go over the current phaser build that I have for my TOS captain. Now, because she is a TOS captain, true and true, she has all that. So does everyone else. Of course, it's all Kelvin stuff because the Kelvin ones look a tiny bit cooler inside the game with its textures and things. The ship that I am using on her is the TOS Temporal Light Cruiser. This is an extremely expensive ship inside the game. This, in fact, is one of those billion credit ships on the exchange. There is an alternate ship that for the build that I'm using in this video, because that's not actually going to be a real 5.3 configuration. It's just all broadsiding thing because I wanted the TOS feel. There is a ship in the description that you can usually go to and see that you can do everything that I'm doing in this build basically on that ship as well. And it's available from your fleet. All you need to get that ship is to have tier 2 military provisioning, and your 20,000 fleet marks, like 1 to 5 fleet ship modules, depending on whether you have the C-Star version of that ship or not. And that your ship has gotten a little bit of provisions for it. Very solid ship, as well as this one. Whenever your ship has 4 tactical consoles, it is really nice. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this build. So for this ship, I have 8 of the twin phaser beam arrays. And this is because I wanted the TOS feel. And so these all have the classic blue beam from the TOS TV show, which is all pretty cool, pretty nice. I'm not a super fan of doing lots of rerolls, so whatever happened to come out from these is what they turned out. Pretty simple there. So obviously you're going to have a lot more damage than others because of that. And I'm perfectly okay with that. They're all epic, and so they are perfectly fine. Actually, overall inside the game, even for like elite content, as long as you have at least ultra rare Mark 15 for your stuff, or Mark 14, you're going to be able to get through it just fine. It's just that if you want, the optimal damage and stuff for everything, then you want to have Epic Mark 15 for everything. So I have 8 of the twin phaser beam arrays. These guys you're able to get either from a lockbox or from one of those like TOS cruisers from the C-Store. Go to the C-Store here, and you could get this guy. You're able to like claim free like levelless rare of I believe the single phaser beam arrays that also have the blue look too. And if you get this from the C-Star, you're able to constantly reclaim this ship and get however many beam arrays that you want. However, if you get them that way, then they're bound to character. If you get them via a lockbox, or as I did, just buying them off the exchange for about 1 million credits each, they're able to be bound to accounts. You can trade them between different characters on your account without any problems whatsoever. That was the route that I went, so that it was easier to use it on other characters if I decided not to use this guy anymore. But I decided to get her a TOS cruiser. So for the Space S stuff itself, I'm using the Iconian 3-piece, the deflector, warp core, and shields. Just because the warp core and shields gives you awesome stuff with it. The warp core, where does it say there? Yeah, hot restart of removing weapon disables once per 60 seconds, and this one removes shield disables once per 60 seconds. So these guys in and of themselves are extremely strong. And then the 3-piece with the deflector allows me to get this thing here too. That whenever I fire my energy weapons, I have a 5% chance to increase damage to the team, which that is okay as well. I didn't want to do the 4-piece though, simply because now yes, this would increase my damage, but it would also increase the damage of a lot of my allies. And if they are not doing beams, if they are doing like dual beam bangs or cannons, this extra percentage damage is actually going to increase their threat generation more than it's going to increase mine, actually. It's one of the fun parts about whenever you increase damage to your team that if you're not a tank captain, you don't really think about. I mean, the 4-piece is perfectly fine. I've nothing against the four piece. The impulse engine that I went with instead was the counter command hyper impulse engines. Part of it is because I don't actually use this character a super ton, and so the main mission that I run with her is a mission called Undine Assault, and I just run the advanced because that's the hardest version of this one. Simply because this is, especially for the amount of marks that you get off of it, this is a mission that you could basically carry by yourself as a decent tank inside the game. Like if you have 4 AFK teammates, you could actually finish this mission on your own in the time limit. If you had a build like mine, you actually could. And actually, it wouldn't be that hard either. So I typically run her with this mission like a couple times a week whenever I log into this character. And then when I'm running that mission, I don't worry about fluidic space friction issues inside of that map. Very nice, pretty simple. My devices are pretty standard as normal as well. They're Remar capacitor, temporal negotiator, subspace field modulator, and then I use engine batteries because I don't like to do crafting for devices on a bazillion characters that a lot of them I'm barely going to be playing. For my consoles themselves, I'm going to point out these guys first. The DPRM console combined with the secondary shield protector. This one's actually fairly important because since I am a tactical captain for this character, I do not have a lot of innate defenses or defensive capabilities with my character itself. So getting that extra shield resistance plus like an extra second of defense off of the activatable that gives me additional secondary shields, which isn't great to be honest because secondary shields do not have the additional shield resistance that your regular shields have off of everything else, and so your secondary shields will get torn through quickly. However, this is secondary shields to your entire team, so that's something, you know. Also, the 2-piece bonus here gives me additional phaser damage, so that is also fairly nice, combined with the passive energy damage that you get off of the DPRM console for basically 5 tactical consoles inside of this build. I have 4 vulnerability locators with phaser for that basically additional 8% crit chance roughly overall with this stuff here. Plasmonic Leash, of course, like for most builds that are not Polaron, just to give me one of those 2 sources of additional power. And then I have the primary field projector combined with the hostile acquisition so that my beamfire wills have less of an accuracy penalty on them for getting a lot of additional accuracy. Base accuracy of this ship is only 47, unfortunately. I can't afford to get the obfuscation screen on every single captain that I have, and so not all of them are going to be as high there. But this is also a taunt console as well. It hurts the damage and damage resist rating of the thing I'm attacking, but the hold gives me an almost guaranteed taunt. This is also a very strong PvP console too. I would expect with the next expansion that comes out in just about 2 weeks now, with that brand new announcement yesterday. This thing's probably going to get a little bit expensive for a little bit, and then it'll get cheap again whenever this finally goes on the Infinity lockbox eventually. I still have Barnor Infusion Circuits and Tachokinetic Converter. I really should be using a simulated module instead, because it gives me basically almost the exact same crit chance and crit severity, and control expertise, and then it also gives me some additional passive hull regeneration additionally. The flight turn rate is not actually quite that valuable on the Temporal Light Cruiser here because the base turn rate of this ship is 11, and so the turn rate is very, very, very high considering everything. So it's that when it's sitting, and so that should say something. Crit chance rate isn't that high, for the ship in general, simply because I am using 4 Lucari bridge officers for this ship. So, um, in order to get Lucari bridge officers, you do need to get your colony world to tier 4. I can't remember which one of these it's in. Yeah, it's so morale tier 4. You're able to get the very rare Lucari bridge officers, which is which are very nice. Um, if you're looking for bridge officers to give you extra survivability, these are your best ones inside of the game at the moment. Basically, Lucari officers are basically a better version of humans inside of the game. So, because humans innately have leadership plus 3 ground traits, Lucari bridge officers have 3 space traits. Superior efficiency, which back in the super olden days was the go-to trait that you really wanted. This is also insanely good for Romulan captains as well, because with your singularity cores, you're going to have a lot lower power in general, and so more efficiency benefits you more than other captains inside the game. It's really this, whatever it's called, Restorative Portal Matter Specialist, and that you get a 10% bonus to your hull and shield healing, which times the 4 officers that I have here, it gives me an additional 40% increase to my heals and shield stuff that I'm doing. So yeah, the way that this ship works is that you have a commander in engineering, a lieutenant commander science, a lieutenant commander tactical, and then a lieutenant commander universal. Which for me, since at bare minimum for my ships, I like to have at least 4 engineering bridge officers, and then a lieutenant commander science for the gravity well. Outside of that, no real preferences there, and so having more tactical isn't a bad option either for you. And that's what I typically go for with this ship. I have 2 beam fireball 3s, just so that the accuracy doesn't really hurt that much. In fact, it's only 30 reduced accuracy combined with this guy who gives me 30 accuracy, which means those literally cancel out. Instead of normally with some beam firewalls like 2 or 1s, in which I'm still going to be losing some accuracy from that one console, this is now literally like the exact same. Then of course I have attack power in deltas and tactical teams. Oh, where are you? Because I do have Adaku Khan, who is giving me additional threat generation. I don't have the other bridge officers like to enhance this, but literally, like with the way that this build is, I really could just put whatever else I really wanted to here. This is completely sufficient for what I'm actually wanting though out of this ship. I don't really feel a need to get extra bridge officers, and so if I want to be tactical with this build, I actually would probably get more crit chance officers, honestly. But yeah, that's what I'd probably do with this ship. Now for traits, you're going to find something different, and I'm actually going to start with space traits. Yeah, so for tactical assistance, I don't think I've shown this before. What you're wanting is like when you have a good day to die combined with last ditch effort, you get a bunch of additional damage resistance rating and bonus damage that you're able to constantly spam. So this lasts for 15 seconds and it starts at a 45-second cooldown. So this is already up 33% of the time inside the game. So 33% of the time you have a lot of additional damage resistance rating and a lot of additional damage coming out of this stuff here too. Combined that you also have, attack pattern alpha, which gives you a bunch of insane crit chance, crit severity, bonus all damage. And then fire on my mark. That's kind of like the triple combo here. Whenever you really need to take down a target, activate vulnerability system sweep for additional armor pen. Tactical team that you coordinate with your teammates who probably also have tactical officers, just so that you constantly have lots of bonus all damage for your whole team. And a tactical team to keep all of your tactical cooldowns down. I think it's pretty simple, straightforward for those 2 traits on why I have them. By the way, last ditch effort comes with tactical captains. A good day to die is one that you have to get off of the exchange. It's not particular. Well, it's definitely a few million. The last that I checked, like 2 months ago, it might be more or less depending upon whatever the demand is for a lot of your captains inside the game. Since tactical is the most popular profession inside the game, a good day to die is normally relatively stable in terms of its pricing. I also like Fluidic Cocoon, also from the exchange. A 20% chance whenever you receive kinetic damage, you get bonus energy damage for 20 seconds. That stacks. I really love Secret Command Codes because it's an extra heal and resist to control stuff whenever I'm hit with a control ability. Control abilities are some of the most annoying stuff in the game, so getting heals and additional resist to that whenever I'm hit by those is also pretty nice. Techie just for additional passive hull regen. Give Your All is from R&D. If you get R&D to if you get your engineering R&D to level 15, you are able. Well, you automatically get this trait. Your different R&D stuff gives you different traits in there. For tactical captains, if you want to be a tactical tank, Give Your All is a decent option. There definitely are probably better ones inside the game, but this one's a fairly good standard one that I like to use. Inspiration Leader is a nice old trait. I've had on many of my captains for a long time. Getting additional 10 to most Starship skills when I'm just activating bridge officer abilities, and I'm just passively potentially getting additional stuff to make me better. Warp Theorist isn't necessarily the best thing in the world, but it's still nice. Then some additional defense. For Starship Traits, you should be seeing 2 new ones for the ones that I typically have. Now, normally I have Honor Dead in here, combined with Shield Overload. Those used to be the 2 go-to standards inside of the game for me personally for tanking. Now it's Shield Overload plus History Will Remember. This one has beaten out Honor Dead. A lot of it is because with Honor Dead, a lot of that damage resistance rating in hull regen, it's damage you get post resistances, and so if your tank is too strong, you aren't getting that many stacks to begin with. And second, this is a completely defensive tool. It's not like this one, which does give you some offensive and threat generation, not only from the raw threat generation whenever you have threatening stance and you're getting hit by enemies, but that it also gives you some additional damage as well. Now, overall, whenever you compare this guy to this one, obviously this guy is going to have more regeneration. Feel free to watch that video where I go over Honor Dead, comparing it with History Will Remember, as well as Built to Last, which is also fairly strong. On this ship, I'm actually using this guy as my power trait inside the game. Instead of using like the Vodwire trait or like Emergency Weapon Cycle, I'm using Built to Last because it gives me a lot of on-the-spot holy regeneration, plus the 20 seconds of 33% weapon power cost reduction. I'm able, whenever I'm spacing out these couple abilities, I'm able to have it almost constantly on, which is fairly nice. And the Plasmonic Leech soars up the tiny bit of time whenever this stuff is not up. So it is an extremely nice trait, and that's combined with Invincible, which is frankly just the best trait inside the game. It's really most valuable in PvP whenever you don't time abilities correctly and they get past your shields, or in PvE if for instance if you're going into Hive Onslaught and you want to play Hive Onslaught Elite, a lot of those so the Board Queen and her 2 ships by her do have a couple abilities that, well, there are 2 that are meant to one-shot you, but then there are 2 other abilities that do insane crits inside the game. And so if you aren't a science officer, you almost need Invincible if you're going to survive against these guys inside of the game right now. Prior to Victory is Life, we didn't need um, Invincible. It was very nice, but you didn't necessarily need Invincible to get through that. You almost need Invincible as a tank now. Now, of course, if you have 5 super insanely powerful DPS guys on your team, then yeah, you don't have to worry about it. They'll just die too quickly for them to really get any really big significant crits off to really kill all of your team. But anyway, and then for my 5th trait, because this character has a 5th Starship trait, that's where I'm putting Honor Dead. The combo of these 4 traits for this particular character isn't quite as valuable as those ones. It's just my personal preferences. I mean, like, if you're a Federation captain and you happen to have, like, I used to remember Shield Overload and, like, Emergency Weapon Cycle from like, your Sea Store ships, and you don't have, like, stuff for, like, your lockbox ships here, having, like, Honor Dead as a good is a decent replacement for Invincible, frankly. Because Honor Dead is really cheap for Federation captains. It's quite a bit more expensive for Klingon captains. However, they did say, like, I can't remember if it was like yesterday or just a couple days ago, that they're going to be adding the Sarcophagus ship to the Infinity Lockbox, which is going to make that ship quite a bit cheaper. Combined with the fact that History Remember already made it much more cheaper on the exchange, adding that ship to the Infinity Lockbox is going to make it even cheaper inside of the game. Stage rotation is fairly straightforward. 4-5 hull for more hull capacity. Then additional stuff for crit severity and crit chance. Active hull hardening for additional damage resistance rating when I actually need it. And then Ame Perimeter Conduits so that if I get critically hit and I survive through it, then I get a significant amount of additional hull and shield regeneration. For active reputation, I go with Anti-Time Singularity, with Force Challenge, Biomechanical Shield Generator, and Deployed Sensor Interface. For the 5th slot here, I typically just go with Medical Nanite Cloud, just so that it's a little bit easier on the ground. Medical Nanite Cloud is really nice because it's basically like having another paradox corrector for you to use on the ground. So it is really, really nice. Let's see, what's other things. Specializations, I use Miracle Worker Command. That's basically the go-to all-around one for most characters inside the game. Well, most tanking inside the game. If you want to have a decent balance between space and ground combat, that is definitely the way to go right now. For skill tree, this is what it is. Basically the same as what I've shown you all in the past. Nothing really fancy here at all. I mean, this is a little bit more aggressive than some of my other builds that I've done in the past. So you see that I've additional hull and shield pen instead of exotic particle generator. You can easily like just take out shield pen and do 2 points in EPG, and then a point in shield reflection. For a tactical officer, either is pretty viable, just because you're doing so much damage anyway that you can easily do that and burst them down easily. It's definitely a very good viable option for you. Since I don't show these normally, battery expertise is a lot better. This is really your choice. If you have a lot of good stuff that reduces your transwarp cooldown reduction, then sector space travel speed is much better for you. Threat control is obviously the way to go here. I've talked about this in several videos. Threat control is the best one here by far. It's only really not good if you're not going to have a tank at all in your group ever, and you're not going to be a tank either. Then don't pick threat control. Acceptance of offline stuff is really annoying, so having additional resistance to that's nice. More shield capacity. I don't care about stealth for most characters. This actually should be crit severity instead of crit chance, but I don't have any torps on this ship, so it doesn't really matter. Control resistance, obviously, crit chance for energy weapons, and then 2 accuracy. You can easily do 2 defense here as well, but accuracy is much harder to get than defense inside the game. And so yeah, for both of these here, tactical team, attack pattern Delta 1, beam firewall 3, engineering team 1, Marines power to shields 2, Marines power weapons 3, reverse shield polarity 3. You can very easily switch both of these if you're having issues with survival. And then hazard emitters, transfer shield strength 2, and gravity well 1. You can easily make this a science team as well, depending upon different effects that you need to get rid of. Especially because with lots of inside the game, the Iconian resistance shield can help a lot with mitigating that significantly. I mean, there's definitely shields that are better than this one now. It's just the removal of disables with the shield and warp core is extremely valuable. This is why I really love just even that 2-piece there. Like if you wanted to copy this and do more damage, you could literally just do the Iconian warp core and shields, and then you could do the Bejor 2-piece, which I believe. No, I don't know. It's in one of these missions in here. No, I thought it was Sunrise. Sunrise is in here, isn't it? I'm sorry. For normal phaser builds, you want to actually go to the Sunrise mission and get at least the quantum phase converter with the quantum phase beam array. These two are fairly good. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart as to where the where that other set is. It will be in the description though. Feel free to check that out as well. Yeah. This is the standard phaser build that I typically like. It's not necessarily the best one, but as I said, I like TOS stuff. This is pretty cool. I am exploring a couple of Foundry missions for actually showing off these particular builds inside the game. Especially with the new expansion coming out in less than 2 weeks, you will be seeing a lot more of extra videos on this channel for just the couple of other remaining builds that I haven't shown yet. And also builds that I'm still in the progress of making on some of my characters, and so they won't be finalized, but they'll at least be able to show you where they're at the moment. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.